Welcome to Live Without Limits. Your breakthrough starts here. I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and this podcast is dedicated to helping you build the mindset, habits, and inner strength needed to create a life purpose, success, and fulfillment. Today's episode is titled Emotional Resilience, Bouncing Back Stronger Through Life's Challenges. Life has a way of testing us no matter who you are, where you come from, or what your goals may be. Challenges are inevitable. Disappointments, setbacks, failures, losses, uncertainty, rejection, and unexpected changes are all part of the human experience. The question isn't whether you'll face difficulties, it's some people allow adversity to define them. Others use adversity to develop them. The difference often comes from one critical skill: emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to adapt, recover, and continue moving forward despite life's challenges. It doesn't mean you never feel hurt, disappointed, angry, or discouraged. It means you develop the capacity to experience those emotions without allowing them to control your life. So, in today's episode, we'll explore what emotional resilience is, why it matters, the habits of emotional resilient people, and practical strategies that you can use to strengthen your resilience and thrive through life's ups and downs. There's always going to be ups and downs on any given day because we never truly know exactly what will happen from one moment to the next. So let's dive in. What is emotional resilience? Many people misunderstand what emotional resilience is. They think resilient people never struggle emotionally. They imagine resilient individuals are always positive, confident, and unaffected by hardships. The reality is that very different. Emotionally resilient people experience pain just like everyone else. They feel disappointment. They experience fear. They encounter uncertainty. They face setbacks. The difference is that they don't stay stuck there. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficult emotions. It's about learning how to move through them. It's a way to think, and this is what I want you to do. Think of a tree during a storm. A rigid tree may snap under strong winds. A flexible tree bends and adapts while remaining rooted. Resilience works the same way. Emotionally resilient people remain flexible during life storms while staying grounded in their values and also in their purpose. They understand that setbacks are temporary. They recognize that challenges are opportunities for growth. And they believe that no matter what happens, they have the ability to adapt and move forward. Often, we don't realize it, but when we're with someone that can be very critical, we allow them to hold us back, to pull us down, to keep us from achieving our goals. And then when adversity happens, when you get out of that relationship, you just find out how strong you are and how resilient you are and how you can break the bonds because let's put it this way, and let me use myself for example. I had certain goals in life, things that I wanted to do, had no support systems at home. So it was often me building a business on virtually very little money. And what I would do is I would take low paid, underskilled jobs like telemarketing simply because it paid. But it only paid $5 an hour. It was minimum wage at the time. These were not the jobs that you took to earn an income. These were jobs that you took to earn extra income. And they were also jobs that were very, very boring. And if they're boring to me, if something's boring to me, if it doesn't challenge me, then I'm not going to stay with it very long. And the one thing that I found is that when I was dealt with adversity, I always found a way to get out of it. And yes, when I was on the verge of homelessness, I would take these small time jobs just to keep the roof over my head. But it was often a struggle. And I found that I work best when I'm on my own, doing what I want to do, and choosing to, because in telemarketing, when you're on the phones and you're selling something to someone, you got to repeat the same thing over and over again. And it's not that people hang up on me because that's expected, because not everyone is a sale. And the way it was told to you is that out of every call, or out of every 10 to 15 calls, you may get one or two people on the phone, and out of that, maybe one sale. So resilience is dealing with adversity, not allowing it to hold you back, and to look at life's challenges as something to help you grow and expand, especially when it comes to being the person who you were meant to be. And how many times, if you look at soap operas or even on YouTube, they have all these little romance stories, and how many times it's the billionaire who is married and has a wife, and in the middle of it all, he goes out and has an affair, and then the wife leaves or he throws her out, and she finds out just what her true strengths are and how she can succeed on her own outside of that marriage. So we need to look at the fact that the strength comes from within us. It's who we are. It's the things that we can achieve because we believe in ourselves, and we don't allow someone else to control the lifestyle that we live, because we have goals and other people try to live their lives through their children. And children, when they break those bonds, are able to find out just how resilient they can be. So now, let's look at why resilience matters more than ever. We live in a fast-paced world filled with uncertainty. People face pressure from work, finances, relationships, health concerns, social media comparisons, rapid change, global events. Today, we are truly a global economy because the internet allows us to do so. And we are bombarded on social media. And you have people that understand how to use it correctly and what it was meant for. And then you have those who use it to abuse other people, especially when they have no idea who that person truly is or who or what they represent. Many individuals spend enormous amounts of energy trying to avoid discomfort, but resilience teaches us a different lesson. It teaches us that we don't need to avoid every challenge. We need to develop the strength to handle them. Research consistently shows that the resilience contributes to better mental health, improved relationships, higher job performance, and the greater life satisfaction, increased confidence, better stress management. When you become emotionally resilient, challenges stop feeling like permanent roadblocks. Instead, they become temporary obstacles that can be navigated and overcome. Resilience doesn't eliminate problems, it changes how you respond to them. And this is the crux of everything, how you relate to what's happening in your world. Just look at what's happening around us today. We have high prices in gas. We're in the middle of an undeclared war. We are seeing someone put tariffs on products just so that he can make money off of his office. And what is that doing? That's taking money out of people's pockets. And then you have those who really have done nothing but espouse hatred towards others. And, anti-Semitism, hatred, we've, against immigrants, we've seen that before. It has its times when it's more obvious, but dealing with that, how you deal with that, just tells you how resilient you are. And remember this, those problems never go away. We always are going to deal with something. Technology changes over time, almost constantly, from one day to the next. And we've gone from having no telephones to having telephones to now having cell phones. We've gone to seeing how the internet has changed how we do business. What you have people, depending on your personality, some people adapt more easily than others, and some people have a lot of difficulty in dealing with resilience. But if you turn around and you look within yourself, if you take stock of who you are right now, then you will find that you too have the ability to adapt to change. We all have different personality styles that are our strengths and our weaknesses. And how and we can, the thing is that we can move within these different personality types easily, but some of them are our weaknesses, and it's more of a struggle to move between them than others. So understanding where you come from, how you relate to the world around you, and how resilient you are when it comes to dealing with adversity. Now we're going to talk about the myth of staying strong, because one of the most damaging misconceptions about resilience is the idea that you must always be strong. Many people believe that they should suppress emotions. They tell themselves, I shouldn't feel this way. I need to toughen up. I can't let anyone see me struggle. By suppressing emotions doesn't create resilience, it creates exhaustion. True resilience involves acknowledging your emotions honestly. You can feel sadness, still be resilient. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can experience disappointment and continue pursuing your goals. And that is what we need to understand. Resilience is not emotional desire, it's emotional management. Emotionally resilient people allow themselves to feel, but they don't allow their feelings to permanently dictate their actions. They recognize emotions as visitors, not permanent residents. Okay, let's look at how those things come to you and understanding that we are emotional people. Many a times what happens is you look at an actor, they're able to project a feeling just by a look on their face. You know they're feeling hurt or they're feeling anger just by looking at them. But some people bury those feelings. They deny themselves the ability to show their emotions. And then what happens? When you don't allow yourself to show who you truly are, then everything that you're burying, what you're actually doing, is putting yourself in that position where you are are literally going to be making yourself sick because you're dealing with a lot of stress and you're not allowing yourself to show that stress, that stress, to deal with it, to decompress. And it eats you alive inside. And recognizing what it's doing helps you get to the point where you can begin to let go of yourself. And remember, it also comes down to who you are inside, what you're feeling, how you deal with emotions, and it's also the way you raise, because women are often looked at as being far more emotional than men, and that's because men are taught they can't show emotion, and because of that, that's why they die younger. That's also why they don't allow themselves to express their anger unless they're abusive. But they also will turn to alcohol and drugs as a way of dealing with that anger and that emotion because they're afraid to show their emotions. So recognizing that, recognizing how especially if you're someone with an addictive behavior, how it can truly affect you in a way that will put you at a disadvantage. Always begin to understand where you're coming from and why you react the way you do, why you see things the way you do. Understanding that feeling, understanding that emotion, knowing exactly how to deal with it can turn around and really give you some insights into why you react the way you do, given a different way of seeing things and recognizing how you can begin to allow yourself to live your life the way you were meant to live and not the way someone else wants you to live. Because remember, if you're in, as a child, our parents will tell us what's right and wrong. But as we get older, we learn how to take better care of ourselves. But if you allow yourself to have that parent continually dictate your life to you, then what you're doing is you're giving up your right to live the life you were meant to have, and you're also giving up the right to live independently, because when that parent is gone, what's going to happen to you? Are you going to be able to become resilient? Are you going to be able to live the life you were meant to live? Or are you going to have become so dependent on someone else that you just don't know what to do in order to live the life that you were truly meant to have? Now, let's look at the power of your inner dialogue. One of the most important factors in emotional resilience is the way you talk to yourself. Consider two people facing the exact same setback. Person one says, "This always happens to me. I'll never succeed." Person two says, "This is disappointing, but I can learn from it and move forward." The situation is identical. The interpretation is different, and that interpretation influences outcome. Your internal dialogue shapes your confidence, your motivation, your stress levels, your resilience. Emotional resilient people practice constructive self-talk. They don't ignore reality. They simply refuse to let temporary setbacks become permanent beliefs. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can I learn from this?" That simple shift can dramatically change your response to adversity. Now, what I want to do with this is go back to show you how different personalities deal with something. Because if you're someone that has good interpersonal skills, or you're a dominant personality and you literally believe you can control the world, then what happens? You have the ability towards strong resilience, the ability to get beyond some of the adversity that's happening in your life. But if you're someone who is the peacemaker, and that steadiness personality that doesn't want to deal with adversity, that would rather bury their head in the sand and not admit that it exists, or that you will sit there and not react because you just don't know what to do. What are you doing? You're basically allowing someone else to control you, to make your decisions for you. And then what happens when they're gone? You literally don't have the resilience to take care of yourself because you've never learned how to do that. And often a parent is more concerned about their needs than worrying about whether or not their child is able to live a fulfilling life beyond the bounds. And often a parent will constantly use negativity because somewhere along the line they feel that they are someone who has low self-esteem. And to build themselves up, what have they done? They have become someone who constantly puts down their child. And then what happens is, especially if that child has struggles to deal with the outside world through communication, it literally has, once you isolate someone like that, then they're isolated for life. Therefore, the best thing you can do to help your child or an individual succeed is to turn around and allow them to be who they were meant to be. So let's talk about building some emotional resilience daily. Good news is resilience can be developed like a muscle. It grows stronger with constant practice. Habit number one, practice self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotional responses. Notice your triggers. Recognize your patterns. Awareness is the first step toward growth. Habit number 2, accept what you cannot control. Many people waste energy fighting reality. Resilience people focus on what they influence. They ask, what is within my control right now? This mindset reduces stress and increases effectiveness. Habit number 3. Boy, my finger isn't working. So what if I do it this way? This way. Makes it go much easier. Develop a growth mindset. And what that means is that we can either have a fixed or a growth mindset, that we deal with things in a way that allows us to either take new information in or reject it. So failure becomes a feedback instead of something that stops you from moving ahead. Mistakes become lessons. Obstacles become stepping stones. Now let's look at habit number 4. Strengthen support systems. No one builds resilience alone. Well, strong relationships provide encouragement, perspective, and support during difficult times. Reach out when needed. Connection strengthens resilience. Habit number 5, prioritize self-care, sleep, nutrition, exercise, rest, mental recovery, physical health, and emotional resilience are deeply connected. Taking care of your body helps strengthen your ability to handle stress. Habit number 6, celebrate small wins. And this is very important because when you set goals, what are you doing? You're breaking them down into smaller, achievable activities. And what does this do? This helps build that self-confidence because progress begins with confidence. Every challenge becomes something that strengthens your belief in your ability to handle difficulties. Don't overlook small victories. They matter. Always recognize where you're coming from and why. Resilience during major life setbacks. Some challenges are bigger than others. Job loss, divorce, business failure, financial hardship, loss of a loved one, health challenges. During these moments, resilience becomes especially important when facing major setbacks. Allow yourself time to process. Avoid rushing healing. Focus on one step at a time. Seek support when needed. Remember that recovery is rarely linear. Some days will feel easier. Some days will feel harder. That is normal. Progress isn't about moving perfectly forward. It's about continuing to move forward. Even small steps count. Finding purpose in adversity. Many people discover their greatest strengths during their most difficult seasons. Challenges often reveal capabilities we didn't know that we possessed. Adversity can teach patience, courage, compassion, gratitude, determination, perspective. While we wouldn't choose many of life's hardships, they often become the experiences that shape our character most profoundly. Emotional resilience. People don't necessarily ask, how can I avoid hardship? Instead, they ask, how can I grow through this experience. Growth doesn't erase pain, but it can give pain meaning. And meaning often becomes the foundation for resilience. As we wrap up today's episode of Limb Without Limits, remember this: life will challenge you. There will be setbacks. There will be disappointments. There will be moments when you feel uncertain, discouraged, or overwhelmed. But these moments do not define you. Your response defines you. Emotional resilience is not about being fearless. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about developing the ability to face life's challenges with courage, adaptability, and hope. It's about trusting that no matter what happens, you can learn, grow, and move forward. Every challenge you overcome challenges your resistance. Every setback you survive increases your confidence. Every difficult season teaches valuable lessons. You are stronger than you realize, more capable than you think, and more resilient than you may currently believe. So thank you for joining me today in today's episode of Emotional Resilience, bouncing back stronger than life challenges. Until next time, keep growing, keep believing, and keep living without limits. This is your host signing off. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and remember, your greatest strength is often built during life's greatest challenges.